It's an emotionally charged issue here in Europe, whether the food you eat should be tinkered with genetically. Supporters say genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are an inevitable answer to boost production and feed a hungry world. Opponents say we don't yet know the full extent of the dangers. This EPP-led hearing aims to examine whether opening the door a bit further to GMOs would be a safe and pragmatic move. A panel of European Union experts recently backed a move to allow tiny amounts of GM crops in animal feed imports, up to 0.1%. This because the EU's feed industry buys about 80% of its supplies from abroad, more than 50 million tons last year. The world's largest producers, Argentina, the US, and Brazil, are widespread users of GM crops. EPP Group MEP Catherine Soullie led the hearing on GMOs.
It's extremely difficult with very, very large volumes, in particular with seeds or grain, to have 0% of GMOs. For example, we have soya that comes from South America, where a lot is grown. It's good to have rules of coexistence.
It is very important to be pragmatic in the way that we handle this and not cause problems to our farmers, which would mean higher costs of food on our tables.
But should the EU go further to allow more GM crops to be grown commercially in Europe? Already the EU has authorized the cultivation of insect or disease-resistant GM corn for consumption, mainly in Spain, and potatoes in Germany for manufacturing. It would also allow member states to ban GMOs. As commodity prices hit record highs, the UN Food and Agriculture Organization says the world needs to boost agricultural output by 70% in time to feed 2 billion more people living on Earth by 2050. Already, the FAO says 1 billion people are hungry. Some argue without GM crops boosting production, we can expect even higher prices and greater starvation.
I've been looking down ship holds. I was talking to companies, looking into their silos. Also, because you can theorize as much as you want, but the actual practical way is sometimes indicates solutions.
What about the critics who say we don't yet know all the dangers of GMOs?
My first reaction is, do we know the extent of the danger on anything in this world? And that is why I believe that taking a science-based approach to decisions, getting the advice of the scientists, making sure that it is independent advice, making sure that they are taking account of all the different aspects involved in the issue, is the right way to go.
And what about labeling? Is it adequate and reliable for those who choose not to eat GM food?
There must be rules. Of course, products must be marked GMO or GMO-free. The consumer must know what he consumes. He's free to consume what he wants, but on condition that he's given the necessary information.
For those shocked by rising food prices, supporters of the initiative on GM feedstocks say the measure could head off future price increases. Case in point, 2 years ago, food prices soared and the supply chain was disrupted when the EU impounded shipments of U.S. soybeans with traces of GMOs. EU governments and lawmakers have 3 months to accept or reject the move to loosen the zero-tolerance policy. Says one feedmakers association, it would safeguard vital supplies for Europe's livestock industry. So a lot is at stake on an issue that has been highly divisive for Europe. For more information about our group's activities on this and other issues, please have a look at our website, eppgroup.eu. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.